Radio in motion program loading in 3, 2, 1. Program activated.
Attention everyone, the unpleasant noise you are about to hear coming from your radio is not a mistake.
Okay, first things first, what is your name?
This is Big Sonny playing the best of the 90s and beyond.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah. Radio in motion.
Please do not turn off your radio, but turn up the volume on your receiver as high as it can go.
All right, here we go.
Radio in motion.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Thanks for joining me tonight on Radio Motion. Tonight we're doing Midnight Drive, all those songs that just make you, well, they're hopefully songs that keep you awake, much like a Midnight Drive. So thanks for joining me. We're going to have another installment of The Ugly Truth. And, well, the ugly truth is lately Hollywood has been hit and miss. A lot more misses than hits. And I talked a couple weeks ago about a lot of the upcoming blockbusters or flopbusters, as I call them now, because I don't know, I don't have a lot of hope, except for maybe Tom Cruise, who always brings it. That's a no-brainer. But you know, it's a bit sad because I think he's on the way out. There's Jurassic Park. Talking to my friend about that. That's always a crack up. I feel like, especially with sequels, Hollywood has truly run out of ideas. So many sequels. They've totally, milked Star Wars, destroyed Star Wars, Star Trek, Predator, Aliens, Terminator. They just cannot come up with something new. And Jurassic Park is hilarious because it's like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I hear the theme song in my head, and it's going like, na 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 na, don't go to the island, it's assuredly instant death. You know what I mean? Nobody returns from the island. So that's the same plot every time. We've got to go back to the island where there's deadly dinosaurs because we need to collect a thing, whatever that thing is. We'll need someone to take care of us and assure our safety, as only, one or two of us will escape while the other 10 expendables die. Anyway, those movies coming up this summer. Not a lot of faith in what's going on there. Having said that, I wanted to talk about The Accountant 2, a bit of a gem. Yes, I can't believe it. So we're going to do a bit of a deep dive, overanalyze plot twist, and talk about, a sequel that yes, you didn't know you needed. But you know what? The first Accountant was a bit of a sleeper hit, and I think that's what's kind of cool about movies like this. It's a sequel, not driven by Hollywood, greed to milk an IP dry. Of course, anyone who creates something where they shell out money, they would like to make something back. But I think this was a labor of love, and happy to see it back. And look, folks, it's got math, murder, military-grade autism, and sibling bonding through violence. What more can I say? Basically, I was thinking about this. Basically, it's like Rainman met John Wick in a spreadsheet. So there you have it. That's The Accountant. So look, I won't do spoilers, but I will tell you, obviously, about the Accountant, and it would pay to see the first movie. And that's what's really great about a sequel that's smart. You could see it on its own. It's certainly, if you're smart, you catch up pretty quick. But obviously with Easter eggs here and there, it is so cool. If you've seen the first one, you'll get so much more out of it seeing this sequel. So the original, again, I feel like it was a bit of a sleeper success. I found a strong sort of cult following over time. And look, this one, it's clear fan service, but done right with, care and substance, which is kind of important these days. And I feel like that's not happening in so many other movies. And look, and the other thing is the cast is back, and you love to see that. Same director, same writer. Director is Gavin O'Connor, written by Bill DeBook. I'm not sure if I've got that name right, but that's another great thing. It's the simplest thing of all, continuity, consistency. The first group that understands the characters, writing the character, and directing the person who's playing the character, Ben Affleck. when they return, that's always a good start. And let me tell you, it definitely was a respectable a sequel. So, and also, it's not necessarily just going bigger and better. It respects the characters and the original tone, which is cool. So it continues the story of Christian Wolf, played by Ben Affleck. I think he plays that part great, and it's so unique, So it's his character is defined by having a high functioning form of autism, a mathematical genius, if you will. That's his specialty, and throwing in deadly combat skills. What more can I say? As I said, Rainman with combat skills. And with that unique origin too. Again, this isn't a spoiler as such, but it's tantalizing you, especially if you haven't seen it. And if you have seen it, well then I'm just paying fan service and you'll love it. Having a tough love military father type of thing, who sort of forced him to face his challenges head on, rather than sheltering him. And again, I could get deep into that. There's probably a lot to that. There's merit to that, and understanding that, especially with something like Asperger's or autism, this is a person who actually, because they may be triggered by our surroundings, and we're able to deal with them normally. But when they are able to focus, they can hyper focus on something, and very often it is something that they can, something like math or numbers, something that they can be very meticulous with, and highly functioning in that way can certainly lend itself well when you've got someone who's able to hone those skills, and then, like say, throw in some military combat skills. So that's how the father sort of raised him, rather than leaning into it and sheltering him. He said, look, the real world is tough. You need to live in it, and you face it. And again, that could go either way, but in this case, it created Christian Wolf. Also, it's a powerful message. His condition, it's not like romanticized or used as a gimmick. And I'm sorry, some movies and TV shows use it as a bit of a gimmick. It's part of who he is, but it's not all he is. And I think that's great. So again, it's not just all explosions and machine guns, but there's a bit of that too. And I can't say enough about the complex sibling dynamic between him and his brother Braxton, played by Jon Bernthal. So essentially, again, for any fans, this is also a movie that essentially has a Punisher and Batman in it together, and if they were brothers. Again, that's pretty cool. And it's not all about the action scenes. It really is, the emotional core of the film is the relationship with his brother. And how cool is that? How cool that he even came back. I think that's, how do you decide to do a sequel and do it right? First, you've got to decide who's coming back. Can they come back? And this is Ben Affleck. He's produced this as well. So, he's backing this with money and reputation. So obviously he puts out a call to Jon Bernthal and say, hey, you want to be my brother again and annoy me and try to get a rise out of me? And Jon Bernthal, look, he is so underrated. He is quite the character. I feel like Hollywood I don't think they know what to do with him, because he's one of those that is, you know what? I'm going to say it. He's too good for Hollywood. He's too much of a character-driven actor. He will get into the role, into the meat of it. And I think this role's great for him. So so Jon Bernthal plays his brother, Ben Affleck, obviously the brilliant sort of reclusive, autistic accountant. Obviously that's his income. He is a accountant to, let's say, dangerous criminals, while secretly being an assassin. That's the gig. So he works for horribly dangerous, terribly violent people, laundering their money, gets paid well for it. And then along the way, again, this isn't so much a spoiler as it is developing the character. Still, when you see the movie, it's all surprises. He works with the FBI to give them some tips so that I suppose his conscience is clear. And Jon Bernthal as his brother Braxton, it's a great name, it's funny. That's his estranged sort of, let's say, more highly lethal brother. Also a former military operative who, both the brothers were raised the same way. His brother also has, serious military skills. But look, his brother they're like chalk and cheese, but that's what's so cool about them when they come together. His brother is full-on brute force chaos. And that is the exact opposite of Christian Wolf, Ben Affleck character, trying to keep his world sort of quiet and simplified until, of course, he's set loose. Then that's different. The other person who came back, there's a character, so she plays the FBI agent, Cynthia Robinson, Adia Robinson. I actually think the three of them, again, anyone who's seen it, I think they'll understand. Actually, the three of them together, those are my favorite parts of the movie, when they're all on the screen at the same time. The brothers, yes, absolutely. The dynamic where, Jon Bernthal, and you can see Ben Affleck and Jon Bernthal, and when you see the behind-the-scenes stuff, it's great when actors actually found a bond, and it helps them just easily lean into the role of brothers so much easier. And I can see Jon Bernthal possibly in real life trying to get a rise out of Ben Affleck and kind of annoy him. And on screen, he certainly does that to the character. And Jon Bernthal starts laughing in this one scene because he knows he's annoyed his brother, and he's getting a rise out of him. And that's brothers. So yeah. And the dynamic between the Mary Beth Medina FBI agent, I think it's great because so she's the FBI agent, but she knows, she needs to utilize Christian Wolf to get the job done. Sometimes you have to go down that road, and the thing is she's trying to keep it clean, keep it above the law, and unfortunately, Christian Wolf and Braxton Wolf, they don't necessarily, they live below the law, they outside the law. And so, yeah, her trying to come to, face the facts that if she wants something from them, they might get it done in a, let's say, a nefarious way that she doesn't want to know about. So those scenes are funny. She's like, oh, have you heard about murder? Do you realize what you're doing? I don't want to know. So it's funny. I think the three of them, no, I hate it when a movie is used and turns into a TV series or something, but I'm just going to put it out there. If there were some sort of, even a one-time show on TV and it was just the three of them doing their thing, I would totally watch it. So that's how compelling they are working together. And that's great. So yeah, she returns as the sharp, grounded, FBI agent. And yeah, each of the major characters could totally carry on their own spin-off show. The other great part about it is they've added to this, again, sort of a light spoiler. So the money he gets, the huge amounts of money, sure, he keeps some of it to sustain his lifestyle, but he lives very meager and humble. The cool thing is he has an Airstream. Now he may live in a house for cover, but all his personal items are in the Airstream. By the way, it is like the biggest Airstream available. I think it's like a Pan America. It is huge. And inside, if you've ever seen an Airstream, or if you don't know what that is, look one up. It's a travel trailer, but they're like the cream of the crop. It's like a yacht inside, and they're awesome. So that's his, that's his go car. He's got a car, hitches it up to his Airstream, and he can be gone in an instant. So the cool thing is he has a woman working for him, and this is someone he grew up with who also has like a form of autism, but who's honed that skill. And the cool thing is he has taken his funds and he puts it all into this school for these exceptional children. So there's a whole school of exceptional children like him, young teens and stuff. They go there, and like I say, he pours millions into that. The millions that he's getting from the horrible, violent drug dealers laundering business. So you see, it's a cool dynamic. So he's working for the baddies, but he's doing something good with the money. And this time around, and I have to say it, if block your ears if you don't want to hear this. This is pretty cool. This time around, the school gets a part in it, and I think it's, they did it well. They didn't do it in a cheesy way. So he needs a bit of help. He himself is a tech wizard, and he's really good, but he can only go so far. So he calls up, and he gets essentially his team of brilliant, diverse, neurodivergent youth acting as his tech-savvy brain trust, essentially. All right, it's like I need to look up this person. I need to find their ID, and they get on the computers and they go into neurodivergent savant mode, and boom, they're on it. And someone's like, "You're not going to get that information." The FBI agent's like, I have access to the whole FBI and CIA database, and I can't find this person." And he just goes, and he gets, all the young, brilliant kids on it. They're on the computer, and no, they got things, and they track them. Boom, he gets a picture on his phone. You mean this person? So that's pretty cool. So now he's got the brilliant tech-savvy brain trust at his school, at his beck and call, to be his tech-savvy addition to the team. The dynamic, duo of the brothers. So that's pretty cool. And it's a great balance, like I say, of plot and action. I actually mostly love the scenes where it's just them on the screen talking and working through stuff. And the brother, trying to get through to Ben Affleck, saying, why don't you call more often? Is it, your, I was going to say affliction, but is it that, that's blocking it, or is it you yourself that makes you not want to, get in touch and make more of a connection? So yeah, those parts are great, but it's a great balance of plot and action. Of course there's action, and I think it's sprinkled out just right. And it's not just mindless fight scenes, but sequences that mean something. I also love the smart use of weapons. Look, if you like something like John Wick, that's why I said it's like Rainman and John Wick. The cool thing about the John Wick movies is, and again, you see the behind the scenes of a movie and you see how much an actor dives into the role. Keanu Reeves certainly did that through the whole John Wick series, as far as getting to know the weaponry up close. Because, any actor can go and the prop master shows them how to use it, and they just start shooting the machine gun. And again, look up these clips because they're awesome. When the actor has had actual training. When they're shooting the gun and they pop out the clip and they put in another clip and they're using the gun right. They're not just like trying to use it like a wannabe gangster. They're using it like an actual tactical military person. And the best thing of all, like I said, just changing clips is awesome. Because in so many movies, you feel like this person has an endless amount of bullets. Yeah, we all like fantasy, but it grounds you a little bit better when there's a little bit of reality. And it's so awesome in one of the scenes, you actually see them. They've got all the clips on their bulletproof vest, and they're running out of bullets because they have to pop out clips and put new clips in. I don't care how big the clip is, folks, but after you rattle off a round of a machine gun, you're going to run out. The clips don't hold 10,000 bullets. So yeah, just little stuff like that, actual tactical training. It looks so cool on the screen. And then the clever use of tech and surveillance and math as sort of a weapon, as his fists or guns. You know what I mean? His ability to solve the puzzle. Look, he did this in the first one. It was essentially a very, very complicated, well-hidden money laundering, accounting, mistake or on purpose. And, his mathematical mind, you see the scenes where it's like someone's going, and all the little, the math, the numbers are floating in there. That's also a cool talent, and that's his weapon. And he uses that again. And yeah, subtle touches of philosophy and human behavior, explores how people cope and adapt and survive. Like I say, that's awesome because it touches on that in the first one and this one. We all have coping mechanisms, but so much harder for someone who does have autism or is neurodivergent, as in, the regular surroundings of our world that you're used to affects them in a different way, whether it's light and sound, or just, a thought pattern or getting stuck in a loop, to be able to adapt and cope with that and turn it into something cool because you're a crime fighting, autistic accountant, badass John Wick guy. And that's the accountant. It's so unique. Like I say, it's the kind of movie where I never wanted a sequel. I was worried the minute I saw the trailer. I really was worried. But as I've explained here, they've done the right thing. They've explored the characters right. They brought the right cast back together, and they knew that people recognized that there was some magic between the brothers, and they brought that back with Ben Affleck and Jon Bernthal because that chemistry works on the screen, and it's fantastic. And no, I don't necessarily want this to turn into a John Wick where there's a bunch of others, but like anything, anything's possible. Without being specific, like any movie, they leave it to where riding off into the sunset, anything could happen. And that's what's sort of cool about that. So look, my final sort of thoughts are, it's a sequel that elevates the original. It's not just more of the same. And I don't do the trailer that put me off the most, the one that it said, it's better than the first in every single way. I don't want to hear that. That's annoying. You don't have to say that. You can say it builds on the first, and in its own way, it is equal in its own way. But frankly, like any movie, the original is. There are rare occasions, and I've talked about those movies, but the original is the best because it's the thing that started it all. You shouldn't take away from it. So yeah, saying it's better in every way, no, it's not. No movie is better in every way, but they build on some of the most favorite things that you wanted in the first that maybe you only saw 30 seconds of. Now you might get 6 minutes, and it's awesome because you're like, oh, this is great. It's still happening. So that's all it does. Builds on the first, and it's fan service done right, which is done so wrong these days in Hollywood. They miss the mark so badly all the time. It pays respect to what made the first one special, and that's all anyone wants. That's all I ask for in a sequel. Alien and Aliens. Again, not to get fully into that, but it's a different director. James Cameron was a totally different take, but I don't knock Alien because that is Ridley Scott set that in motion, a unique vision, and there is nothing like Alien. Alien had hung more on the suspense horror part, and Aliens, well, Space Marines brought in the badassery that only James Cameron could. I think they stand equal, and the sequel is equal to the first in that they're a combo. You watch them back to back all the time, and it's great. So that's how that should work for a sequel, and it's certainly not happening these days, let me tell you. And yeah, like I say, The Accountant 2, definitely watch the first one, and then you will be ready and primed to watch the second one. Emotional, action-packed, thought-provoking. It's a rare combo these days. It really is. Like I say, I was pleasantly surprised. I was really worried. Look, am I saying I'm hoping for a third or a spin-off series? I think there's always danger to that. Like I just said, when the big movie companies get involved, for now it's not. I think it's actually Ben Affleck's movie company, or the one he's associated with. And, he's the producer. He's in control. I think once you lose that control, you get problems. Like George Lucas, when he sold it to Disney, he sold his baby. It all went wrong. So if Ben Affleck were somehow to keep control and oversight of it, even if he didn't want to be in it, which I hate when that happens. Yeah, I won't say no to a third or a spin-off series of the three of them. FBI agent Mary Beth Medina stars with Braxton Wolf and Christian Wolf as, whatever. That'd be cool. Look, I do think their dynamic together certainly deserves more screen time, and it would be cool to have more world building there with the school that he funds, and maybe seeing more kids come out of that school and they help him out. Yeah, okay, I hear you. You could go nuts with that, but only if it's done right. So look, that's my deep dive into The Accountant 2, and that's proof that just because you're socially awkward and a math genius doesn't mean you can't also be a one-man army with a secret hacker squad of gifted kids, helping you out. That's got to be one of the most unique plots around at the moment. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. And if you liked this episode, well, subscribe and drop a review or send me a message, and tell me your favorite moment from the movie. And remember, the accountant, always pay your taxes, or you can hire Ben Affleck to make your enemies disappear. I mean, hey, he's out there. All right, catch you next time, and we'll be back with some more great music on Radio Motion on tonight's Midnight Drive. You're listening to Sunbury Radio 99.3 FM.